Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Any questions from the press or press-related business we'll conduct after this press conference, so please hold your questions till we've completed our comments. Following Wednesday's announcement from the Senate President Sweeney and Assembly Speaker Prieto that they had reached a deal on school funding, and part of that deal would entail that the Toms River Regional School District would experience one of the largest cutbacks in the state of $3.3 million, and that would be effective July 1 of this year. My office, in cooperation with our Board of Education, among other things, has called for this press conference. This is short notice, as you can imagine, while we're preparing for graduations and the end of school year, but I want to thank and commend the Toms River community and our staff for rallying around this issue and in such a timely fashion, and being able to have this event as we are here today. So I certainly, and we are appreciative of that. We appreciate you all attending. I'm joined up here by my Board of Education President, Mr. Givine, and School Business Administrator, Mr. During, as well as our local legislators from Legislative District 9 and 10, and mayors from the affected communities, some superintendents, fellow colleagues, administrators, and others. First and foremost, it's important to be clear that we are not recommending taking state aid from any other district in any way, but we are making every effort to secure and maintain the school aid that we should rightfully be receiving. We have been respectfully communicating our concerns about the school aid formula for literally years. But at this time, given the potential harm to our district and other similarly affected districts, we must move more and directly to confront this issue. As an example of us communicating, back in November of 2015, as just one example of many, I traveled along with Mr. Doring to Trenton to make a personal appeal for state assistance in November of 2015, along with Toms River Mayor Kelleher and Township Administrator Paul Shives. The local delegation met with representatives from the State Treasurer's Office and the Department of Community Affairs. We have since adopted several resolutions, as have our regional municipal governments. These resolutions concluded, we, the undersigned members of the Toms River Regional Schools Board of Education, join with State Senators James Holzapfel and Christopher Connors to implore Governor Christie and the New Jersey Legislature to assist the district and its students and its constituent municipalities in this critical time of financial need, and that was 2 years ago. Even at this juncture, we remain optimistic that the governor will respond appropriately to our plea. Months ago, we pointed out these critical areas of concern to the Senate and Assembly Budget Committees, as well as the Senate Select Committee on School Funding Fairness, a committee that was established to look not at funding formula, the funding formula constitutionality, but the funding fairness. If fairness is the objective of this plan in terms of Toms River Regional School District, it is anything but fair. And Mr. During will speak later more to the flaws in the state aid formula. This decision will obliterate all that this community has accomplished in the last few years, despite the challenges that we've all had to overcome. As I'm sure you're aware, Toms River was devastated by Superstorm Sandy in October 2012. Out of over $2.2 billion in lost ratables, Toms River experienced 50% of all New Jersey losses. The township has still approximately $600 million yet to come back on the tax rolls, and with recovery several years away. More than 10,500 homes in Toms River suffered some kind of damage when Sandy stormed ashore on October 29, 2012. About 4,000 of those homes were considered substantially damaged, which means there was damage to more than 50% of the home's pre-storm market value. The Toms River Regional School District is still in the midst of a financial struggle. And as I mentioned earlier, for the past few years, we were in the process of seeking much-needed assistance from members of the Governor's Office and the New Jersey Senate and Assembly when we learned in the 11th hour of this most recent news. Keep in mind that we have already had our 2017-18 budget approved by the New Jersey Department of Education and the county office. And our Board of Education has also approved it at our most recent board meeting. We have planned and staffed for all our essential programs and services, while already making significant cuts for the second consecutive year to staffing, nearly depleting our reserve accounts, and again increasing property taxes. Recently, Assembly Speaker Prieto rightfully commented that he didn't want to take money from any districts for the upcoming school year because they already adopted their budgets. Prior to Superstorm Sandy, for the 10-11 school year budget, our state aid was cut by $9.8 million. And to this day, we are receiving $3.6 million less in state aid than we received in the 9-10 school year, despite significant increases in expenses each year. Cumulatively, we have lost nearly $40 million in state aid in the last 8 years, including our recently adopted 17-18 budget. With this most recent additional $3.3 million in cuts, Toms River will be operating with nearly $7 million less than we did 7 budgets ago. And each year thereafter, it exponentially gets worse. All this without exceeding the 2% cap on the tax levy. According to Senate President Sweeney, this will be a 5 to 7 year process and will no doubt devastate this community. For some districts, this impact may be easily overcome, but Toms River has already one of the lowest spending districts in the state. And on a per pupil basis, prior to these financial catastrophes, even now, we are the 4th lowest cost per pupil spending districts for all districts in New Jersey of 3,500 students or more, besides having one of the lowest administrative costs per pupil, and we are approximately $31 million under adequacy. For those of you not familiar with the state's adequacy definition, the adequacy amount is based on what the New Jersey Department of Education expects our district to spend based on enrollment and other factors. And this district, based on that formula, is spending $31 million less. This information and that of every other school district in New Jersey can be accessed on the New Jersey Department of Education's Taxpayer Guide to Education Spending. It's all in writing. The ramifications of this decision will be catastrophic to this community for this year and for many years to follow. And there, in my estimation and our estimation, based on what's being proposed, recovery does not look good or even realistic. There's no way that this school district can absorb this financial blow and continue to provide our students with a thorough and efficient education. So let me be very clear in saying that we want to be partners in the discussion regarding the funding formula. We have already demonstrated our willingness to be partners over the last few years by having face-to-face meetings while providing meaningful, written solutions to the Governor's Office and members of the Senate and Assembly Budget Committees, as well as the Senate Select Committee on School Funding Fairness. We respectfully request that the current state aid allocation, the allocation plan, be tabled before districts, communities, and most importantly, our children are unjustifiably and unfairly harmed by it. Thank you.